Hey now, what's going on, yo? It's JG. I got to move over a little bit. I'm sorry. What can I say? What is going on, yo? Another night in Dubtown for the Auburn Tigers, who defeated... Hey, now, what are you doing? Defeated the pesky Florida Gators tonight. You guys might notice that I have a few new elements of the backdrop. Oh, there it is. A little Auburn signage right here. And Auburn bottle cap also. We always got to come up with some new stuff here. And, of course, the NBA Jam. Our wrong hand, Jay. There you go, NBA Jam. Got to do that. Yes, so the Auburn Tigers victorious, 85-73 over the hated Florida Gators. Mike White, the coach at Florida, unhappy with the officiating tonight, which kind of made me laugh because I thought that for long stretches of that ball game, I thought that it favored Florida. I'm not really one to whine about it, so I'm not like, oh, they were keeping Florida in the game. But, I mean, you know, it was getting a little tight, a little touch and go there. Some of the fouls I thought on Walker there, particularly to open the second half, that one was like, Look, man, it's a tough job. Tommy Tuberville taught me that. His dad was an official, and he always told me, give the officials a break, which is funny because he used to always shit on the officials, but, you know, whatever. It's just something that kind of stuck with me because I got a tough job. We have some super chats coming through already. I do want to shout them out. Pocket Watch had one super early because we love Pocket Watch. He's an absolute stud. We know this. Everybody knows this. Everybody. Deezer's in the house. What's up, yo? Not a mouse in the house. Well, we got a lot of our usual badasses in here. And a super chat from Crocky Poo, one of our Mount Rushmore types. Says, told y'all this one would be tough. Great win. Wardam Eagle. When Crocky Poo says it's a great win, you know it is because he doesn't get carried away with the this, that, and the other thing. Daniel P. says, Jay, what pop figures are on the top shelf? That is, come on, Jay, get your fingers right. That is Wednesday Addams. That is Pugsley Addams of the Addams family. The reboot from the 90s that I really got into. I wasn't old enough to enjoy the Addams family in the 60s, but I loved Christina Ricci as Wednesday Addams. I loved all of it, honestly. Angelica Houston was great as well. Uncle Fester, all of that kind of stuff. Anyway, let's get on to some back-a-ball because that's what we do here. Oh, my word. We got to put up something on that one. My goodness gracious. Stephen P. jumps back in. Whoa. Let's get another good bottle of bourbon up on that shelf. Thanks for doing these, Stephen P. We've got the scroll. I don't know if you'd seen it, Stephen P. We've got the scroll at the bottom of the channel legends, and you are right there. You and Why Not AU and Crocodile and others. We appreciate that so much, man. That is insane. I did not update the score. I got to put that on my list of things to do, JG. Come on, bro. Get your shit straight. Okay. Score is now correct. Sorry, guys. It's like what happens is I get kind of freaking out like at the end where it's like I'm doing my piece that's on the front of the site right now, the game wrap. I'm finishing that up. I'm listening to the interviews with Coach Pearl. I'm trying to get this put together. Sometimes I miss something small, and I hate it when I do that, but I didn't this time. I did with that score, I should say. Anyway, Stephen P., appreciate you, man. You have been here. A long, long time supporting the channel, and much love to you. I owe you a Swoogan cup, too. There is no doubt about that. Ravine says Stephen P. swangin'. Do we have a swangin' sound? I don't know if we do or not, but we should. Let's see. Feel like a stranger says LFG. Draining on a Saturday night after a gritty victory. With Stephen P. like talking about the bourbon, I feel like we need to drink. I want you guys to know that I had. Okay, so the Raiders played last week, and I drank a little bit, and I woke up Monday not feeling my best. I decided that I wanted to dry out a little bit, honestly. So I haven't been drinking. Hold on, I got a cup here. Hold on. Oh. All right. I got a cup. Let me get some bourbon, too. You know what that is, don't you? Man, Stephen P. You get me in the drinking mood, man. Corey Dub jumping in with a super chat as well. You all know, you love Corey Dub, one of our Montgomery legends. Let's get some Colonel E.H. Taylor out here. This is just the small batch. This is not like the crazy stuff. But I'm going to turn that bad boy up. Wowzers. Right here, guys. Thank you. Hold on. Super chat. Wow, Stephen P. took my breath away with that one, bud. You got to let me know who you are in the bunker. I mean, for reals. Hornatius jumped in with a super chat as well, saying, "Sup, beaches." Let me give him a laugh on that one. You know, we love Hornatius. He's been a super awesome supporter of the site and the show, and just generally a badass on the board. Also, we have fun at his expense sometimes. Bo is great. Says, did Jay just say that Auburn has replaced Kentucky as the basketball blue blood of the SEC? I did not say that. However, you know how I feel about Kentucky. I went there, I graduated from there, and I definitely look at life from an Auburn perspective now, so it's changed a lot. Corey Dub, as mentioned before, the aforementioned Corey Dub from Montgomery. What a stud. Says, after Steven, this feels so small. No. It's all love. It's all love. It's part of the family, you know. Stephen P's part of the family. You're part of the family. What a stud. War Eagle, anyway, thanks for draining tonight, JG. Corey, I appreciate you, bro. Absolutely. Let's see. A. Taxman says he's drinking Barrel Dovetail tonight. Nice. Leif B says JG going dry January. Say it ain't so. No, I'm drinking right this minute, actually. But I hadn't had anything to drink since Sunday night. Which I usually drink a little bit more often than that. It's fair to say. That's awesome to see you, Leif B. You guys remember Leif. Well, he's one of our friends from the Rebel Grove site. But he was an absolute Hall of Famer during the quarantine. I think since then, he's been doing his Ole Miss thing. But we love Leif. Everybody loves Leif. Of course you do. Fat Crack, another super chat from the man. This guy's a legend. I was trying to hook up with you on a Warzone the other night. I couldn't quite get matched up with you. I was running with a few other bunker guys. Anyway, he says, feel like my 4-9 is pointless because of Stephen P. Do not say that. But anyways, this team never quits, JGT. Somebody always steps up. Great win, and Bama lost. Oh, it's so sad. Alabama lost at Missouri. I didn't even think people could lose at Missouri. I really didn't, honestly. Let's see. Luborim? I can't read that stuff. What's up, Labor? We'll just call you that. Russ is in the house. Say, War Eagle from Beham homies. Russell, my man, appreciate you. D Lucky in the house. Wow, this is crazy. We have so many of Blake D's in the house. Says, what up, JG and the Auburn family? What a game by our bench and others stepping up in place of our bigs in foul trouble. Great, we got to get to that. I thought Dylan Cardwell, statistically not a huge night. My eyes are not as good as they used to be. I have a hard time reading the box score now. But Devin had 4 points on 2 of 4 shooting. But he worked 3 shifts in the second half, which is a lot for him because Walker had picked up that 4th foul, and they couldn't afford to put Walker in again. And I thought he was terrific. I mean, he didn't go out there and score a bunch of points, but he gave you a reasonable defense and hustle. And he's a hype man, and that was great. See, Corey Dub says 4 rows of single barrel tonight, gentlemen. It's fantastic. That is a delicious pour, straight from Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Pretty close to Lexington. Nonetheless, delicious. EU Taxman said he had to take a week off after being overserved a bit on New Year's Eve. Were you like Andy Cohen? Because he definitely got overserved on New Year's Eve, my man. I don't know if you watched that. You probably don't. Stu Pup in the house with a super chat. Another Hall of Famer. If we all family, here's a gift from the Poe side. Come on, man. What are you talking about? You're rich in love. You're rich in bunker love. There's no doubt. Stu Pup, you're an absolute stud. Thank you, bro. And NHG0002 jumps in. No message offered, no message needed. Appreciate you, yo. I remember you vaguely from a while back, and I'm glad to have you back over this way, bro. Let's see. Don't know how to type in a super chat. You just say whatever, man. I'll pick you up. I appreciate the support, bro. Daniel P. jumps in. You may know him as Metal from the bunker. Can we all agree that if Castleton hadn't had his hand held by the officials all night, this would have been a 20-point dub? Still a great win. We do have points to talk about with Castleton, the 6'11" center for Florida, who was kind of given an opportunity to go off tonight because Walker Kessler was in foul trouble and was not able to do the one-on-one defense because he was on the bench. And then Auburn chose, and I would like to talk to BP about this, and I will in the future, why they chose to not double-team Castleton. I think they had other options, things they could have done to slow him down, and they didn't do it. I mean, when Walker comes out, you know it's going to be tough, but I think there's things they could have done with Dylan and then maybe given him some double-team help that could have eased it down a little bit as far as how much of an effect Castleton had on the game. Ultimately, you win the game, and it's really not. I mean, you get double-digit win, and you're not worried about it, but I'm interested to hear about that. Auburn Arnett jumps in, who was adamant, I mean, in a good way, on the bunker about making sure there was going to be a show tonight. JGT, thank you for all you do. Love the bunker. Yeah, that's what I like to hear. And especially these brain drains. This team is special. Let's enjoy every second. Hell yeah. This is a very good team. They've got a lot of pieces and a lot of good players. Captain Eagle Flaggett in the house. Says, what up, JG? The COVID I'm getting from that game is totally going to be worth it. I would normally laugh, but we're not going to make it a laughing manner. I don't want Stoop Up to – not Stoop Up. I don't want Stump Fan to report me to the CDC for joking about this because, he gets very, very serious about this stuff. Anyway, Crocky Poo said, Dylan is one of our best offensive rebounders on the team, always giving us extra possessions. I don't know if you saw this. This is a really subtle stat. Auburn, I think, had 9 offensive rebounds tonight. My eyesight is not as good as it used to be. Yeah, 9. And 5 of those were team rebounds. So Auburn actually only secured 4 offensive rebounds tonight, and Dylan had 3 of them. So that is completely in keeping with what Croc was saying, and it's something that Auburn's got to be a whole lot better about in the future. Let me bounce over to our stat page because there's some things we need to talk about over here. I already loaded up the that's the Florida one from the last game before they play this game. Let's go ahead and look at Auburn's main box score here. I can see it a little bit better now that it's a little bit bigger on my screen. Big night from KD. Shoot, I should have made him the player of the game, shouldn't I? I made it when because it seemed like my camera's messed up. I'm sorry, guys. I chose when because I felt like he was making the really big plays when they really needed it there in the second half. He had a couple what I call Reggie Sharp shots. If you guys remember when Reggie Sharp beat Alabama with a shot from the Tiger Eyes. And even now when I talk with Reggie, I joke with him about it's a Reggie Sharp time. Wynn had some big shots there. I thought he had some great passes in the second half. First half, not so much, but second half for sure. And he just brings that spark, you know what I mean? He's like a great catalyst on the offensive side of things. And I think without him, they're in trouble. Russell's making the argument that KD equals Energizer Bunny. And I think BP would agree with you completely. He says we don't win without KD. And I think for whatever reason, I don't think I value him enough. But KD was great tonight. There was no doubt about it. 23 points on 7 of 13 shooting, and he just kind of brings that energy, For him, he's a great defensive player because he's so disruptive, and he's like he's got a high work rate. He's everywhere all the time. He's better. He's more effective as a defender when he's having a good night on the scoring end. So he did tonight. It kind of translates over to his defense. He's kind of a weird one. He's unbalanced like that. If he's having a bad shooting night, he's not as good as a defender. So it's all kind of has a synergy with him, where with other players, I remember Jared was a guy where, and Bryce was a big example early in his career where if he didn't have a good shooting night, he was bad on the defensive end and he sulked. I don't think KD sulks. I just think it's a mental thing with him, like focusing. But yeah, when you have a great night like tonight with KD on the scoring end, he's just incredible on the defensive end. Looks like Feels Like a Stranger is knowing what I'm talking about, shouting out Reggie Sharp. Also, NHG knows what I'm talking about. Reggie Sharp, shout out. Bring back the Cliff Dwellers. Yes, I spent a lot of time around the Cliff Dwellers because back in the old days, the riders would ride along the sideline there, and the Cliff Dwellers would be right behind me. And they would shout out Jay Hurd, and they would go, "Have you heard? Have you heard?" And it annoyed me at the time, but I kind of miss it now, honestly. All right, so the The big thing about this game tonight, and the reason that I think this is a very significant game for Auburn moving forward, is that Florida was very successful in getting the game slowed down. Now, you guys know when Auburn's at its best, it's getting deflections on the defensive end or steals and using that, parlaying that into pushing things down the court. I hesitate to say necessarily in transition, although they're good in transition, but just getting the other team off their heels and taking advantage of it either in the transition phase or early in the shot clock. Maybe they reset and immediately drive in or something like that. I feel like Auburn's really good at seizing momentum in those situations, and that's what makes them good. It's kind of the BP thing. That's what he does. That's what he did at Tennessee. That's what he did at Milwaukee, and that's what he's doing at Auburn. So in a game like this where they didn't have that kind of tempo, where it was slower and Florida was doing smart things, good things to kind of slow Auburn down, Auburn was able to kind of change gears, get into that half-court flow, and then win the basketball game and really be clearly the better team. Now, Florida did get close several times there in the second half. I think they had it down to 1 at one point. And then it's almost like Jabari has like this radar in his head where he's like, trouble, trouble, and he just takes the ball and does something with it, right? What he did tonight was takes the ball in transition, is like the trailer, and then just hits a 3. And boom, you go from 1 to 4. And it just every one of those just hits Florida. It's like, oh, shit. We went from 12 down to 1 down, and then Mr. Number 1 pick is going to hit us again. Semi-transition. Thank you, feels like a stranger. We'll call it that. It's a semi. And so it was a slow pace to this game, and Auburn still won the game. Rebounded well, shot exceptionally well. The stats, I have them in front of me here. Auburn was 22 of 38 from 2 tonight. So that's 58%. Auburn is usually 52, 53, so that's a little bit better than average. 8 of 18 from 3, that's 44%. That's pretty damn good. You'll take that any night. So Auburn shot exceptionally well. 17 of 22 at the line. It looked like at one point, right, early in the second half, that Florida was going to get about 40 free throws and Auburn's going to get about 10, but it equaled out, more or less. Let's see, personal fouls are 21 for Auburn and 18 for Florida. I'm not a big guy on it has to be even because teams play more aggressively. Some do. And, you think about a team like Syracuse that plays zone, they're not going to get as many fouls. They're not going to commit as many fouls because they're not going to bang into you as much. So it has to do with kind of style and stuff. It's not all about, people screwing up. We got a super chat coming through from Blake R. You guys know Blake. He's a new bunker member, but he's an old hat around here. We love him. One of our East Coast representatives says, JGT, how you doing? Wendell makes me think more and more about Jared Harper, except Wendell comes off of the bench. Ward Eagle. Interesting idea there. Wendell and Jared, both point guards, both fearless. I think Wendell has probably the most insane range that I have seen out of an Auburn player, with the possible exception of Adam Harrington. You have to go way back. Jared was a terrific three-point shooter. I don't think of him as like that guy that has insane range. And then Bryce was, he's a really good three-point shooter. So you have to go back to Adam Harrington. And hell, Adam's like 40 now, so it's been a while. Just talking about range. Derek Bird had some great range, too, now that I think about it. He was big on the 03 team. From Ypsilanti, Michigan, by the way. So yeah, they have some similarities. They're different kinds of people, though. Like Wen he's a big joker, and he's kind of a mischievous cat. Funny, works well in tandem with like Dylan Cardwell. Whereas Jared, to me, was kind of stoic and kind of vaguely grumpy, and just kind of acted like everybody's old dad. You know what I mean? He acted like what is it when Kyrie Irving does like the uncle? It's like the old uncle. I kind of felt like that with Jared. So they're different personalities for sure, and I think that Wen is like the best long range shooter I may have ever seen in my life myself. It's like he's good from 3, but he's even better from 25 feet. I don't understand how that works, but it does. And the guy just does. There's no conscience. He's just like, I'm going to play my game, and that's what we're going to do. Let's see. Chris M., you may know him as number 19 in the bunker world, says, JJ, I'm thinking we might have a good men's basketball team this year. What do you think? Well, That is very insightful from you, sir, and this is why we love you as one of our very smart, learned bunker scholars. We need to have like a guild for you folks. People like number 19 and D in Atlanta. Who else would be in that group? That always kind of rise above the silliness to see in the next level, I guess. AU Taxman, what a great memory on this play. How about the moonshot 3 by Wen over Castleton, which I thought was a dumb play. Auburn was rotating through off screens and stuff, trying to get the matchup that they wanted. They got it. They got Wen against Castleton. So you're thinking Wen is way quicker than him. So drive away from the help and get to the hole, you know? No, Wen's like, shit, I'll just shoot from 25. Let's go. And put one up and buckets, you know, as usual. And, yeah. That was one of those that if I was a coach, I'd lose my mind and I'd be like, all right, it's fine. Whatever. We'll just move on. Just say yes and we'll move on. Yeah. Anyway. CDF jumps in. My man, this is actually Duff Diver Undercover. Say Jay Jizzle, the goat for the late night B Drizzle. Hey man, you're like a rapper, aren't you? Like Houston area rapper. Isn't Chingy from Houston? Maybe you're actually Chingy. When do we name the arena after Bruce? Let's go ahead and give an applause for that one because I think we're at that point. I always thought it was going to be Hyundai Arena for some reason. But it hasn't been yet. And maybe Bruce Pearl Court would be good. Solo Tiger says, I remember the Harrington hype coming in from NC State. Absolutely true. He transferred in from NC State. And he is now I think he's coaching now, right? He was a very high-profile trainer for a minute, but I think he works for the Nets now, one way or another, and he's an absolute stud, and he's very proud, a very, very proud Auburn graduate. Like, extremely proud. He was really, really fired up about that, and he still is. He tells everybody. Yeah. NHG says, Jared could get his shot off against most defenders. Wendell has a great shot, but his release won't let him get off when he's covered right. That is something. You know, I should have mentioned that. Wendell does not necessarily have the ability to create his own shot. Now you say, hey, man, he put one over Castleton, and he did, and he's a great long-range shooter, and he's fearless, which are great things to have. But Jared had a little bit more shake to his game, and I think that's the reason more teams weren't after Wendell. Because by himself, I don't think he's just that dominating kind of player. But, boy, he's good the way that they're using him right now. And the way that BP uses so many ball screens, we got a big super chat coming through. From Mobile alum jumping in again. Hold on, I'm getting out of order here. I'm sorry. Mayor Mix-a-Lot jumps in. Board Name Eagle JGT. Can't hang long tonight. Be good. Mayor, who was at our bourbon event, by the way, in the capital city that we had a few weeks ago. Hell, it's been like a month. No, it's been like a month and a half. Time, it goes so fast when you're having fun. Thank you, sir, very much for that. NHG jumps in again. Another super chat. Since we're talking about Wendell versus Jared, couple bucks for Jared's game winner in the SEC tourney against Florida. Huge shot. I don't remember that shot. I'm going to be honest with you. I was there. I don't remember it. I lose things. I remember Jared in the game against Tennessee when they crushed Tennessee. And I just saw everything after that. You know, the scene was amazing, and it just kind of took over my brain. Mobile alum, 1991. Again, look at this. She's absolutely unbelievable. Hey, in celebration of a great win and you bringing us home with another late night drain. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you. I need to go back. Let me go back to our main page here. Mobile alum, of course, is on the scroll there on Channel Legends. There's no doubt about that, and she's certainly one of those. Also a panelist, some would say, at our bunker event that we had at Voodoo Wing Company in Mobile back during the spring, which we will do again because we're well represented in Mobile. We've got a lot of absolute legends that live in Mobile. I mean, we have them all over the place. Corey Dub says, are we cheering for Chiz with his new gig? Interesting situation. Gene Chizik, of course, is going to be the next defensive coordinator at UNC, which is where he was before he abruptly resigned maybe, 5 years ago, something like that. He's going to go to work for his mentor, Mac Brown, and I don't know how to feel about this other than as someone who would really like to watch more SEC coverage on the SEC network. I'm happy because I can't watch Gene Chizik. I just can't. I hope you guys don't take that the wrong way. Most Auburn coaches that I've covered, damn near all of them I really like, and he's one that I don't like very much. Solo Tiger says Little Flip is probably his favorite H-Town guy. All right, I did not know that. Ravine mentions Flanny proved that we will be able to rely on him when Florida was getting close in the second half. Yes, thank you. So in my piece that I wrote earlier, maybe like an hour ago, whenever the game wrap, that's on the front of auburnsports.com, by the way. That's where I am the Commodore, and that's where most of these people are from, by the way. So if you're not a member, please join. On the game wrap there, I talked a lot about the big shots from Wen, hit a couple big ones. Jabari, we talked about him as like the trailing guy that hit that 3 to push it from 1 to 4 with about 7 minutes to go. And then KD had a big 3 as well, as he often does, 21 points tonight. But Al, big thing to keep an eye on tonight. He was driving and finishing. He had one around the 14-minute mark. And he had another one at the 9:27 mark. And then he had yet another one. And what was cool about those is Al is a left-hander, so there's going to be a natural desire for him to push to his left, right, to drive to his left. His first one there, the one at the 14-minute mark or something like that, he was driving to his right. And he was driving to his right, although he finished with his left, as I recall. But he was able to kind of twist his body and get the shot up. Again, I don't know how he does it, but the fact that he's being aggressive and he's willing to go into traffic like that tells me that he's really trusting his ankle, his foot, his Achilles, however you want to look at it. And if he's going to get in gear and he's going to give you a 40% three-point shooting and he's going to drive the lane and finish and hit his free throws, this team's just absolutely going to wreck. Going to wreck shop is what the kids say in the business. At least that's what dude from the Arizona Cardinals said. AU Taxman is shouting out Jalen. I was going to say Jalen Simpson. Jalen Williams, power forward number 2. I thought he had a nice night. Really, in the first half, I noticed him more. And he's the kind of guy where, like, some games they don't need him as much, and then he doesn't really do much. And then there's a game tonight where they needed him more, and he was there. That's what you want to see, and that's why they really wanted Jalen to stay this year, and they're glad he did. Yeah. He's really good. Flying around, jumping in. We haven't seen him as much. Well, I mean, we see him on the bunker all the time. We haven't noticed him on the show. I know he works a lot. Works some weird hours, too. Flying around says, let's pour one for Jalen Dubb, who took over the game when our number 1 draft pick got benched for foul trouble. I'm Rock Howard right now. Excuse me for the cough there. I'm sure that's exactly the way Mrs. Flying Around likes you. In that state. I'm not going to go any deeper with that. Anyway, we are drinking a little bit tonight. I mentioned earlier on the show I hadn't been drinking much. Actually, since the Raiders won on Sunday, I haven't had a drop. But Stephen P. got me in the mood. And now Flying Around is putting one up for Jalen. Hey, you stormed 20 in the house. That means I need to turn on the Skype ski. I did notice that BP said in the post game, I put this in the game wrap. We've got weapons and we've got chemistry. I agree with him on both counts. And the way this team just kind of works, it's built for March. We're going to talk about this a bunch the rest of this month and February and into March. We're going to be talking about this a bunch because there's going to be a lot of folks that think JG, Crocky Poo, whoever, can this team make the Final Four? There's a lot of things you need to get to the Final Four. The number one thing you need is good matchups and good guard play. You think about the year that Auburn got to the Sweet 16 or to the Final Four in 19. You think, well, they had Kansas, North Carolina, Kentucky. That isn't a good matchup. Well, it kind of was because Auburn matched up well with those teams, even though they're really good, even though they're well known and have won titles, and Auburn hasn't. Those matchups were good. I think there are teams out there that, and Auburn lost to UConn earlier this year. There are teams out there that are a bad matchup for Auburn. So South Carolina, the way that they play is a bad matchup for Auburn. Auburn is kind of a finesse team, if you want to be honest about it. And BP talked about this a little bit in the postgame. He said if I was playing Auburn, I would trap the – he actually used a bad word too. He said he would trap the shit out of Auburn, put them in the corners, and turn them over. And to me, that's kind of what Florida was trying to do tonight Although Auburn has enough ball handlers to kind of get out of it. But I think the elite teams out there that like to play a rambunctious style of basketball, and I thought UConn did some of that as well. And UConn certainly had its troubles. I think they lost tonight. But anyway, there's teams out there, good teams, Baylor comes to mind, that are big and they're rough, and that's going to be a bad matchup. So when you get to the Final Four, when you get to the NCAA tournament, it's about matchups, and it's about having guards that can get you through, that can deal with pressure, that can dribble you through pressure, that can pass you through pressure. And we don't talk much about Zep Jasper for obvious reasons. He doesn't score the way these other guys do, and he doesn't have that panache that Wendell Green has. But I'm telling you, Zep Jasper is so critical to what this team's doing because he dribbles intelligently. He sets up plays. He definitely doesn't turn the ball over much at all. I mean, he had one tonight. He had a couple the other night. But he had a stretch before that where he had 0 turnovers for like five games in a row. He's so valuable, man, because you can't have a team full of stars. You need some stars, and you need some glue guys. And Zep Jasper is a damn good glue guy. And that's one of the reasons I really like this team. You got stars. I mean, Jalen's a star. Al Flanagan's a star. I think KD's a star. I think Wen's a star. I think Walker Kessler's a star. But then you've got... right? You've got Zep. You've got Dylan. You've got Lior, who's playing his own little role. You know, he only gets like a couple shifts a night, but whatever. Simo is good like every third game. And then Jalen, who is kind of like the Swiss Army knife. He can do different stuff. He can shoot threes. He can drive. He can rebound. It's just kind of, he can be the guy that can fix the hole, whatever the hole might be. They just got a lot of pieces, and that was the last thing I think BP said on his radio show tonight was, we just got to stay unselfish, and we don't want anybody counting shots. And Zep's one of those guys that keeps you from counting shots because he ain't worried. He's just setting you up. Super chat coming through from Caddy Wumpus. One of our all-time studs. One of the channel legends for sure. Team is deep, like deep, deep. I didn't even see that you had a super chat of that, and yet you're exactly right. It's very good. Very good stuff. Thank you, Caddy Wumpus. One of Jay Lee's favorite names in bunker history. Let's see. Kevin Beese is replying to Chip Chip. I believe JGT's Commodore ship is regional, lest there are issues with the Interstate Commerce Clause and or RICO. My man. I love the joking, man. That's good stuff right there. Solo Tiger notes, in the mood like Glenn Miller. Very nice reference. I learned not too long ago that Glenn Miller died mysteriously. Did you know that? Glenn Miller was a big, I don't know what you call a musician, I guess. He didn't really sing, but he played music. And this is back when World War was going on, and he worked in planes and stuff, and his plane, I think, got hit by a friendly fire. And he disappeared and was presumed dead. Anyway, he's a patriot. There's no doubt about that. I hate to turn this one negative. Cleveland Brown jumping in. Sorry, guys. I do that sometimes. Cleveland Brown jumps in again. Says we let the Gators hang around close all night till it got late. Do you have any concerns going into the rest of SEC play? Not really. I know there will be some people who are concerned about stuff like that. I mean, I'll give you my bias up front. I just think you just grind. You grind. Some games are tougher than others. Like BP was saying tonight, Mike White, the Florida coach, understands ball screens very well, and he knows how to run stuff to mess with ball screens, and I thought they did that tonight. They extended a long way out. They kind of clouded the reads for the screens, and it took a while for Auburn to kind of make sense of it. It's a tough matchup. Just the way that Ole Miss is always a tough matchup because Kermit, he thinks along with BP better than most. So, no, I try to look at the team as a whole. I'm a very holistic type person when it comes to assessing basketball teams. You kind of – the reason that I like this team so much is that there's just so many dudes where if you have an off night or 2 off nights or 3 off nights, you're still good because you got plenty. And AU Storm is with me about the matchups when it comes to March. March is about matchups and guards, in my opinion. And I have been through many in my career. I covered Kentucky as a youngster. 3 Final Fours, 3 national championship games, 2 titles. I learned a lot in a very short period of time. I was very fortunate. Solo Tiger says, I would say Glenn Miller was a big band leader. That's a very fair assessment. Thank you. That's a more appropriate assessment. I was not aware of the suspicious circumstance. I don't know if it was suspicious. It was just uncertain. You know what I mean? I don't think he was like his death was staged or anything like that. I think he was flying. I mean, the theory is that he was on a bomber run, coming across into either France or Belgium or Germany or wherever, and he was flying at a lower altitude, and some people above him started bombing, and they inadvertently took him out. I think is what the chatter was. The word around the campfire in 44. I'm kidding about that, but anyway, seriously, he is a Patriot, no doubt about it. Ravine, appreciate you, bro. This is another game where we find another way to win. Every game we see another aspect to this team tonight. It was foul trouble, and Bruce, we trust. Right. Bunker was losing his mind over foul trouble. I do think some of the calls were chintzy, although I thought some of the calls later in the second half were questionable in Auburn's favor. So it ended up being, I think, 21 fouls called against Auburn versus 19 for them. So that's relatively even. And it's interesting. Jabari got in some trouble with fouls. Walker was in trouble with fouls from the very beginning. So it takes out two of your main offensive weapons, which we wouldn't have said that in November, right? Because we knew Jabari was a stud, but Walker's really come along as an offensive thing. And even though he only had 6 points tonight, I still think Walker is one of their best offensive weapons. And I think he would have been tonight too. But he can't throttle down on the defensive end, guys. You know what I'm talking about. Like, he takes every defensive matchup personally. Tonight, particularly because Castleton is, the other really good big. For me, it's Walker, Castleton, and Oscar at UK are the really good bigs. There's probably more too, but those three have really jumped out to me. And so for Walker, it's a big deal, and he just doesn't want to take not only one possession, but not even like 1 second off on the defensive end. He's just tenacious like that. I think he's got to learn how to throttle down a little bit, because there's going to be times in March where they can't afford to leave Dylan out there for 3 shifts in a row. No disrespect to Florida, but you can do that against Florida. But if it's like Baylor or something like that, you can't do that. If it's Gonzaga, you can't do that. So he's got to learn how to throttle down and throttle down and understand how to stay on the court without getting yourself another foul. Terrence notes that he believes a number of Big Ten teams will be a bad matchup for Auburn. Michigan State is a team, Terrence mentions, who's always physical. I've not watched them play this year, I'll be honest with you, but typically they're very physical. In Illinois, who I definitely have not seen this year. That's still, God, man, I'm so behind. I don't watch Big Ten very much. Is that still the dude from Oklahoma State that coaches there? If so, I like them a lot. Brad, something or other. Brad Underwood, yes. Brad Underwood. I first became familiar with him when he was at Stephen F. Austin. He ran a lot of good stuff there. He's a very good coach. Really, really good coach. He's got Illinois at 11-3 this year. They were 24-7 last year. Good stuff, Terrence. That's a good call. That's a really good call. Yura Vrigoramadov? I can't read it. I know it's Ura, though. Or you're going to have to go. I'm going to go ahead and ban you. I hope that you're not... yeah, whatever. If you're out in Eastern Russia, we need to have a talk. I just want to talk about that. Corey Dub says Zepp needs to find his shot. Corey has Corey hasn't had trouble. Zepp's had some trouble with shooting, which is weird because I think he has a beautiful shot. From a mechanical perspective, it's great. I think some of it is just the same thing that kind of messes up with Simo, which I think it's a confidence thing. It's like when Wen gets the ball and he's got a shooting situation, he's like, buckets, right? And when Jabari gets the ball in a shooting situation, he's like, buckets. Simo's not like that. Simo's calculating a lot in his head, and I think Zepp does some of that too. AU Taxman says nobody gets past Zepp. Yeah, he's very quick, side to side, particularly on the defensive end, and I think he's very valuable that way. He doesn't have the flash on the offensive end, and there's so many dudes that have it on this team, but believe me, he's central to what they're doing for sure. And J.O. looking at things on the most possible optimistic side, not that you need one, Guys, we are still undefeated in regulation. That is accurate. That is accurate. Mobile alum jumps in again. How about this, man? Whew, unbelievable. So how are we going to do against Bama this week? Where do you think we'll be ranked since several ranked teams lost today? Will Leo Berman get a scholarship? He will not get a scholarship this year. And then I'm thinking that because of the scholarship limitations that are coming, I would imagine they may not dole one out to him next year, even though I think he's definitely deserving. We'll just have to see. Right now, Preston Cook is on scholarship. He certainly has earned that. He's a guy that's been with the team a long time and busted his ass for a long, long time, and he continues to do so. So I really like him. And they like him, too, for obvious reasons. I mean, he's a stud. Let's see. I'm looking up top 25 basketball scores. I know Duke lost, which, got me in a really good mood. Let's see. The Purdue Boilermakers were victorious today over the hated Penn State Nittany Lions. Providence College is ranked. Who knew? 14-2. They were victorious over St. John's. Seton Hall beat UConn, the aforementioned game, in overtime. Houston beat Wichita State, a game that I watched this morning at the Planet Fatness, where I was going to the gym earlier. I thought Houston was just better. Period. Villanova was victorious, 19. Let's see. Texas lost to Oklahoma State, although they're behind Auburn. Bammers took one on the chin to Missouri. San Diego State victorious big time over Colorado State. I love the Aztecs. That was one of my backup schools when I was looking at colleges. Kansas lost to Texas Tech, so that will definitely impact Auburn. No doubt about it. There's one spot Auburn's moving up. And then Baylor won. Tennessee lost to LSU. I watched the UK-Georgia game, much of it. Kentucky was just better. Ty Washington was a mess in that game, for Georgia anyway. UCLA beat Cal. I can't believe UCLA's ranked that high. I do love I liked watching them play in the tournament last year. That was a lot of fun. Duke lost, as we mentioned. Gonzaga scored 117 on Pepperdine. Good golly, Miss Molly. Looks like Auburn might be moving up 2 or 3. I don't know as though it really matters. On the KenPom, Auburn is up to, hell, I already have it out. I don't know why I'm tripping over this. There's the box score right there. I already have that cut. Oh, geez, Jay. Does it have to take up the whole screen, or can we just read it? Yeah, anyway. So KenPom's got Auburn up to 7 now. This is after the win against Florida. And you can see their statistical footprint from the KenPom world is pretty damn good. Auburn, those top numbers there, adjusted efficiency, 18 on offense, 7 on defense, is generally the number you're looking at, number 1. So they have the number 18 defense, number 7 offense. Well, I flipped it backward. Auburn's defense, of course, is so reliant on funneling everything to Walker and letting Walker just kind of wreck people's shit all night. And he's really good at that. He's really, really good at that. So Auburn's top third in the country in 3-point defense, 2-point defense, and the top 2% 2-point defense. Good free throw defense. That's huge. Block percentage is insane. 22% now. Good God. 22% of all possessions aimed at the Auburn defense end in a block shot. I mean, it's hard to even comprehend. And then they're very good at stealing the ball, too. So they're just good at everything. Looks like the only number they're bad at defensively is free throws per field goal, which kind of gives you an idea basically how often you foul. And that's something that Florida was doing very well tonight. We can talk about the refs, and the refs were calling some touch fouls, which they were. But that was the plan. And Mike White was like, we're going at them. We're going at Walker. We're going at Jabari. And our plan is to kind of get them wobbly because those guys are going to get into foul trouble. They succeeded in that and forced some other guys to step up. And, of course, Auburn has so many. KD did a nice job tonight. Wen did a nice job tonight. Jalen did a nice job tonight. I thought Al did a nice job tonight, 8 points on 4 or 5 shooting. So, I mean, they've got the pieces. They just got dudes, you know. So from a KenPom perspective, they're pretty tasty. I also want to pull up the latest from the Synergy Sports stuff. This is not including tonight's game, but it was up until tonight's game. And we've talked about this before. I wish I had last week's number up here. I told you guys last week These numbers here you're looking at under overall offense, you're looking at transition and overall half court. That kind of gives you an idea where Auburn's effectiveness offensively is compared to everybody else in the country. So they're in the 76th percentile in transition, which is about, I think they're going to finish the season in like the 80s. They were like 98% very early on when they were playing all those shitty teams, but now that they're playing legitimate teams, I think they're going to drop to like that 80% range. And then overall half court, they were in like the 20% range early on because they just weren't getting themselves sorted very well on that end. Now with the stuff they're running, and they're just kind of, like Wen has gotten a lot better at just administrating shit when they need to get into something. Zep's always been good at that, but they've just got a better idea of what they can run, what they can't run, and just how to do it, how to see on the defensive side, distinguish between a zone, understand which man principles they're going with. Do we want to run high screens or low screens? I mean, stuff like that. They're just getting used to it now. And that overall half-court number, again, has jumped from 15 percentile. They're now at the 61, and I would imagine they're going to finish 70-ish. This team's always going to be better in transition. It's just made to run. But they can still be good in the half-court. And the big bad part for them was spot-up shooting, which has gotten good. They're now good, 55 percentile. Which they rate as good compared to other teams in the country. That is usually an area where Auburn is very good. Now, they were shitty at that last year, and that's why the team wasn't very good. But like in 19, 18, and in 20, when they should have gone to the NCAA tournament and done some damage, they were good spot-up shooters. This team is better, and they're going to get better as Al gets back into motion. Yeah, you can see it. Offensively, it's a good ball club. Defensively, I think it's even better. Thought I heard somebody, and there wasn't anybody here. I had a very strange thing happen to me, by the way, today. So my mom, I just totally off topic, but my mom's like 78 now, and she's kind of wobbly. She's up there in age, and she is insistent that these young girls keep coming into her house and like causing her problems, but she's not scared of them. They're just kind of a nuisance. I'm like, Mom, so they've been in this house? And she's like, yeah. They usually come in around 2 or 4 in the morning. She's obviously having some kind of hallucination, But it's just freaky, man, because she could describe them. And she's like, I can see them. They kind of have like these big red veins on their arms. And I'm like, fucking. It's like, I'm telling you, if you wanted to write a horror movie, I just need to sit down with my mom for a few hours. The stuff she says just freaks me out. All right, we're getting back to reality now. Brad E. jumps in, another one of our channel legends, and some would say the second best Easterwood, possibly third if you include his wife in that, although she was a Bammer. Anyway, Brad E. is a stud. Caleb Williams' NIL contribution, my man. Auburn is still very much in this for Caleb Williams. He is the quarterback who is in the transfer portal, leaving from Oklahoma, could go back to Oklahoma. Also considering Georgia, Auburn, and a number of other places. I'm telling you this, Auburn is doing some serious fucking work trying to get this thing put together. I'm telling you. Not only do they have to kind of convince him, right, that this is a place where you can come and play and be showcased, because everybody wants to get to the NFL, and he's certainly an NFL talent. You've also got to come up with NIL now. It's a whole different level now. And Auburn got in late, I think, going into the NIL stuff. I thought they were behind the curve. They're quickly trying to make up ground. When I say Auburn, it's not Auburn proper. It's Auburn folks trying to get stuff put together for a nice NIL offer for Caleb Williams. So that is something to keep an eye on. I do think Auburn's in this. I'm still a little skeptical in general. Terrence W. says, define causing problems. This is going back to my mom a little bit. Yeah, so like just being mischievous. Like, for instance, my mom had lost her laptop. I don't know how she can lose her laptop because she doesn't leave the house. So she had not had her laptop for the last 5 days, and she just said, hey, man, I don't know where my laptop is. And I was like, I don't know where it is either. So my daughter found it. It was under a coffee table there in the TV room, which seemed odd because I don't really understand how it could get there. But anyway, my mom's like, first of all, guys, she's having hallucinations. So there's not really like scary girls coming into her house. I promise you. But the story does kind of get creepy because she's like, yeah, they just kind of go around and move stuff around and just kind of piss me off. But I was like, are you scared? And she's like, no. I mean, I just tell them to leave and they leave, but they just kind of get on my nerves. And it's like the level of specificity that she has on it is just fucking weird. It's weird. It's really weird. Love the Cats just says Easterwood's wife. Like, not a question mark, not a period. It's just a statement. I don't know. Hickadula says, love you as much as moonshine, JG. Man, that is... You must really like me, huh? I didn't know that. Thank you for that. Brad says, I need to get him sponsored, Caleb Williams, by Jay's hair dye brand. Man, why are you hating? I did just get my... just get my hair did. Brian 9451 jumps in. Oh, that super chat got really big, didn't it? Coming in from one of our big hitters here. Once again, best post-game show out there. My man, you make it great, bro. Appreciate what you do. I don't have a good feeling about Tuesday, which is when Auburn travels to a Coleman Coliseum to take on the Tigers from Tuscaloosa. But, man, what a huge win it would be. I feel the pressure will be on Bama. Thoughts on Tuesday? Now, so BP has not had a great record in Tuscaloosa. I think that's like 3-6 or so, something like that. I think Alabama's good. I think Alabama's still wobbly. They're more wobbly than Auburn right now. I think they have a lot of talent, and I think they're going to be a factor. But losing at Missouri tells me that they were just not paying attention. Honestly, I hate to shit on them too much. I like Missouri. I just don't. They got some work to do. It's a maturation process, guys. I'm telling you, for all of them, for Bama, for Auburn, for Duke, even for like Baylor and Gonzaga and teams like that. I mean, it's still Illinois. Even if you have Kofi Cockburn, it still takes more than that. So it's a maturation project. I think that Auburn will be fine over there. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to win, but I think it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a matter of who makes the buckets at the end. Auburn are going to go over there and get shit on. They're not going to get seagulled, where you just fly in and get a shit put on your head and he takes off. It ain't going to be like that. Auburn's a good basketball team, and finally you guys should be out of the football mode where you're like, damn it, we're going to lose again. Don't be in that mode anymore. Crocky Poo, am I right? Change the gear. In this basketball team, Auburn has something where you should go out every night and think you're going to whoop their ass. Because I think a lot of nights Auburn's going to do that. I do. I think Auburn's going to beat a lot of people badly. Alabama's not one of them. I think Alabama's good. But you should go into the game feeling like you've got a really good shot to win it. Don't be worried about it. Enjoy it. Chip says, AU Twitter will be otherworldly with a W Tuesday. Yeah, Auburn basketball Twitter's been pretty fun, huh? Hickadula. I love that name, by the way. I love you as much as Old Smokey, JG. Wow. Appreciate you, bro. Let's see. Terrence said Devin Cambridge went off the top rope on one guy that didn't get called. He sure did, didn't he? That was a play. That was a sequence, I should say, where he made a mistake on the scoring end. He made like a stupid turnover, which he tends to do. And then he was like determined to make a big play on the defensive end and make up for it. And then he got juked really bad on a pump fake. And he had actually knocked the ball out before the contact, but the dude kind of leaned into him. And Florida was going for like a flagrant there. And I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it. Let's see. Brad says, upgraded the internets at the house. It's then when you remember how many devices you have. Do you really have that many? I didn't know you had a big old house like that, bro. Let's see. A Taxman says Walker had 6 points and was plus 13. That's a pretty good number. There's no doubt. I can't read as well. I know Zepp had a good game. Zepp was -2? Shit, that's crazy. My bad. I take it back. Wen was plus 18, and then, as you mentioned, as AU Taxman mentioned, Walker plus 13. Some good stuff there. Chris M says, a.k.a. number 19, says, I mean, if it were a perennial power, I'd be scared as hell, but to be playing Auburn in the tournament, UNC hasn't recovered yet, and it's been 3 years. Dude, Kentucky hasn't recovered yet. They have not recovered. I mean, Auburn broke UNC. Absolutely broke them, man. I would argue that Auburn's broken Kentucky too, but they would never say that. They would never acknowledge that. They still look at Auburn as like, basketball-wise, as like this, I think it's about time that they start changing that perception. NHG comes in again, says Auburn seems to thrive off getting foul calls, momentum, more than other teams. We just go on these runs that seem unstoppable. Yeah, we didn't. I didn't necessarily see that as much tonight, but in general, you're absolutely right. Auburn goes on these crazy runs. And they're very momentum based. But they tend to control the momentum in a way. Like they're not just listless and kind of hoping for the tide, not the Crimson Tide. I'm talking about just if you're out in the ocean, you're just waiting for the tide to kind of pull you this way or that way. Like they seem pretty assertive about it, but I agree. They're very runny. I'm not sure I was going for that. Let's see what else we got here. Yo. I think I got behind a little bit, didn't I? AU Storm 20 jumped in again with another super chat. Well, this guy called in the other night. What an absolute legend. We love it. Let's talk round ball. Also, Dykes calling Keontae Johnson a beautiful human was a very awkward moment on TV today. Yeah, you're right about that, bro. You're absolutely right about that. Looks like I missed some calls tonight. My bad. Shit. I've been over here babbling, and I'm not even looking. I'm sorry. I'm going to move this Skype pane somewhere. There you go. AU Storm 20 calling in right now. My man, what's up, brother?
Yo, Jay, what's going on?
What up, man? Nice. This is a nice night for you to call in, bro, because they beat the Gators' ass.
Beat the Gators' ass, but I'm also a little freaked out about the story about your mom.
Dude, I know.
I'm very concerned.
Yeah, she says the girls with the red veins. I was just like, what? She asked. So we brought her dinner tonight, right? This is before the Florida game, obviously, and she goes, "Are the girls coming tonight?" And I was like, "You mean Maddie and Courtney?" And she goes, "No, those girls with the red veins." I was like, "No." Can you give me a little more information?
That's some Children of the Corn stuff right there.
It was pretty freaky, man. Maybe I should write a movie script about it. I don't know.
You may should sit in there and just see what happens.
What about this basketball team? That's a story.
Yeah, man. Look. That's the first time this year this team has had some foul trouble, and I was interested to see when that came about. And look, I was a little concerned there for a minute. I mean, especially as Castleton was putting on a little bit of a show down low. We were in foul trouble. We were already in the bonus. Couldn't foul on the perimeter, so they were just dumping it inside. And look, we responded well, and we still won by double digits. I mean, that's a sign of a team that can do some damage and that can have a deep enough bench to where you're not getting the fouls called the right way on your big guys. Your best player had 3 fouls. Literally, one of them, he didn't even touch a guy. And here we are in a tough situation. And I don't even think he came in till under 10 in the second half. First time he touches the ball, just drains it from the 3. I mean, it's just this team's deep, and we got guarded really well on the perimeter. And I think I talked about this last time. I think it was 2 games ago. About how when we play against really good, athletic, long, trapping guards, I'm a little concerned. And there was a lot of concern about that, obviously throughout the game tonight. A lot of bad passes, dumb turnovers, just getting kind of out of the sync of offense. And that's obviously something I'm a little concerned about moving forward, and a little concerned about as we get into the tournament on who we match up against, because, man, sometimes those passes and when we get pressed up on, we don't play as well. And I'm a little concerned about that. That's the only negative I can take out of it is that. But other than that, I mean, look, you beat Florida. Anytime you beat Florida, it's a good win. I don't care how good or bad they are. That's a good win.
I mean, I know they're not awesome right now. They're not in awesome form, but I mean, they're still good, and they got dudes.
Yeah. I mean, in the past, we had a dude or two here or there, but we got like 5 or 6 dudes. I mean, if you can have someone like Jalen Williams, who I always preach about this, but he has a good matchup in the game. He goes in there and he gets 14 off the bench. That's a dude who knows his role that night and plays it well. You have KD, who could go off at any point in time. You have Devin, who has not had his 3-point barrage game yet, but it's coming. Any point in time. You'd think, but it's coming. And Kessler had a bad night. Look, he'll try that up and hopefully take it out against Bama in the airport hangar on Tuesday. And we got dudes. We can win games with that. No matter who has a bad night, someone's going to step up and win the game. It's crazy.
We've got dudes.
It's crazy.
I mean, you're right. That's like the statement right there. There's just a lot of dudes. There's a lot of good players. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned. I wouldn't say I'm concerned about Tuesday because you're right. The mentality has to change on our team going into Coleman winning, and we've had some bad experiences the past few years when we move high up in the rankings and we go in there with a good record and we just lay an egg.
That's true.
But the way we played tonight, I'm hoping, and these guys have a different mentality than those teams in the past. I'm hoping that we come out, we play well, we don't get scared. They're going to be out for blood, especially after losing to Mizzou. I mean, by the way, Jay, Mizzou is trash.
Bad.
They're awful.
Bad.
They had like 10 fans there today.
The girls' team's
terrible.
better.
Oh, for sure. And our girls' team should have won that game too.
Yeah, probably right.
But I'm hoping that we come out with a little bit of an attitude, a little bit of just come out there and we I think we match up well with them, especially inside. I think Jabari could be a big mismatch for them. Obviously, their guards maybe a little more talented, somewhat maybe, and can shoot pretty well and match up pretty well with our guards. But I think down low we have the advantage, and so I hope they don't go on their little Jekyll and Hyde streak where they shoot really well, and we take. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, this team doesn't usually Jekyll and Hyde too bad, but we've seen a lot of it happen in Coleman. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I mean, the game a couple of years ago sticks out to me for sure.
Yeah.
But this team's different. I mean, we got dudes, we got hungry guys. KD, we got KD, Wendell, Zep. Zep's interesting. I like how you talk about him a lot because not a lot of people. He's not flashy. Not a lot of people talk about him, but we need those type of guys coming into the year when the tournaments start. You need those glue guys. You need those guys that aren't as flashy. And he has a good shot. I know someone mentioned earlier that he has been a little off, but he shot pretty well in the South Carolina game. He just needs an open in rhythm shot to be able to get his shot down.
Yeah.
Whereas Wendell, maybe he's deeper. He can knock those down. He can get a little sidestep, knock it down. But Zep needs an in rhythm open three in order to do that.
Yeah, he does. I do think it's worth noting that Wendell is a 37% three-point shooter, and Zep so far is a 35%. So it's 2% difference. Now, I know 2 points does matter, particularly when Wen is taking more than Zep, but they're pretty close on percentage. Zep's not a terrible three-point shooter. He's a terrible two-point shooter. He's 33% from two this year. That's not even possible. That's the lowest on the team by a significant margin outside of Lior. I don't even know how that happens, but it does. So there you go.
Yeah, well, I like him a lot. I mean, I know a lot of people, especially on Twitter, are like screaming from the skies that Wendell should be starting. But if it isn't broke, don't fix it.
I agree completely.
I mean that starting five, they get the job done well. We never get down to a big deficit. That you just keep rolling the guys in. I mean, Wendell, I think he strives in that first man off the bench role. And it's crazy. We have a guy like Wendell who just lit up South Carolina and had a good game today. We have a first-team All-SEC player coming off the bench. We have a guy who started all last year in Jalen Williams. And pretty much it's just crazy the depth this team has.
Yeah.
Coming off the bench.
Look, man, there's going to be injuries. I mean, I hate to be the guy to tell you that. You know this because you know basketball, but there's going to be injuries, and you're going to need that depth. So it's not always going to be like this where everybody's just chilling and you're going 11 deep. But Auburn can absorb a lot of injuries right now. I mean, I'm saying there are a lot of guys that could get injured and Auburn could absorb it. Now, Jabari and KD, to me, it would be tough. And Wen, too. But at least they have the depth and they can kind of work around it because they got a lot of dudes, like you mentioned. We're going to have to give you credit for that.
Yeah,
Storm.
For sure. Yeah, I think tonight was an interesting test with not having Jabari in there for I think almost 8-9 minutes.
Yeah,
and It was a long time, and the offense sputtered because of that. And you see the importance, and you see the reason why this guy's going to be a top 3 pick is because when you need a bucket, when you need a momentum killer, dude gets the ball, he isolates. I mean, I don't know about you, but he kind of reminds me of a Carmelo Anthony 2003 Syracuse. Just the way that he gets the ball on the ISO on the elbow, gosh, it's beautiful sometimes.
Yeah, it's an underrated skill. I mean, shooting twos now. I mean, because we're in an era where it's like you're either dunking or you're shooting threes. But man, he can really hit them. He can hit them from 12, 15 feet, like nobody's business. And he's also a great 3-point shooter too. I mean, he's 44%. I mean, shit.
He could be unconscious. I mean, do you see the quote, what Jalen said after the game?
Uh-uh.
When Jabari came in and hit that, someone asked him about Jabari coming in, and immediately the first time he touched the ball, just launch it up a 3 and nailing it when we were, I think, only up by 1. They extended to 4. And he was like, yeah, Jabari makes that shot 9 out of 10. Actually, he makes that 10 out of 10 times. And that's just like, man, that's confidence.
Dude,
right
I've
there.
seen it. I mean, I've seen him in practice this summer when he would just drain. It's crazy. He is currently 45% from 3-point range. I mean, he's a 6'10" power forward who hits 45% from 3-point range. I mean, that's a fucking problem. That's a problem for defenses. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't even think we've even tapped into his potential yet. I mean, it's still, we've had years where we've had dudes, and they are the guys with the ball, and teams are out there focusing on them. But what's crazy is they got to focus on a lot of people, and he's bought into the team. This is why I love Jabari. He's bought into the team mentality, and he's not going out there like, I got to get mine, I got to get my buckets. He's out there playing.
He is.
And he loves playing with these guys, and I think scouts are going to realize that and notice that. And, look, I'm okay with losing him. I mean, we all expected that, and he's bought into it. I mean, I remember tonight he making a big stop, and he turned to the student section and going nuts, and that's awesome. I love how he's bought into it, and I hope he can go far as the tournament or whatever with it. But it'll be interesting, man. I'm excited. It's 3-0. We'll hopefully make it 4-0 next week.
Got a big game coming up. AU Stormer 20, you're an absolute legend. I appreciate you taking the time to call in and just be the stud that you are. And I appreciate the super chat too, man.
Hey, no problem, man. Y'all have a good night.
See you, bro. There he is, AU Storm 20. What a caller, man. Marla Hooch, what a hitter. I'm just kidding. I mean, he is great. I'm way behind here on the chat. Let me see if I can kind of work my way through. Convicted Harsonist. That's a great name. Flanny Poo is my MVP for tonight. Flanny Poo, interesting. He stepped up, hit 2 or 3 huge buckets to stem that late Florida run. Great to have Flan back. Yeah, and he was driving too, right? He's not scared about that foot at all. Great name, Convicted Harsonist. I like that. Mobile Alum jumped in again. Man, she's been on fire here lately, has she not? Now you know why she's a legend. Based on what you've seen so far, do you see us winning the SEC? We still got too much meat on that bone, as Doc would say. I need to see more. I mean, Auburn, to me, is playing the best basketball in the conference right now. Kentucky's playing good basketball, too. They're right there. And we're not going to have to wait very long to see that game. January 22nd is that game. So, to me, Auburn and Kentucky are the two right now that have kind of risen up. I thought Arkansas was going to be there, and they have fallen down. Listen, they've lost 5 of 6. They lost again today. I don't know what to make of Arkansas except the fact that they're just probably too far behind to figure into the title race now. And then Tennessee's had some trouble, too, although they've had some tough games, too. So to me, it's Kentucky and Auburn at the top. Alabama's right there. They're in the next group and could move up. Tennessee's in the next group and could move up. I know Texas A&M's been better lately, but I think it's going to be a 4-team race at the end of the day. I thought it was going to be 5 with Arkansas, but I don't think they're quite there. We still got some work to do. Started drinking a little bit there, administrative assistant. I'm doing okay. I told him about Carol and the Girls with the Red Veins. That was fucking weird, was it not?
That's unique.
Courtney said it was unique. Yeah, that's one way to put it. Russell's freaked out. He says, I'm freaking me out, JG, in a good way, talking about that. Let's see what else we got here. I know I've fallen behind on the chats a little bit. Doug Dozier says DD at quarterback. I love the fact that DD is like, oh, Deezer's calling in. We got to pick up Deezer. He is the man. What's up, Deezer?
Hey, how's it going?
It is Deezer 13 live and in person. What's up, brother?
Hey, I also got my man on the line as well, Hornation.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Are you there, Hornatius? I don't hear.
Is you there?
I don't hear him.
Yo.
Hey, there he is, Chief Cuck. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, War Eagle.
Yeah, you got a big game coming up Tuesday. You going to tell your wife how you feel about it?
Oh, man, she don't give a shit.
I thought she was a Bam Bam.
I mean, she was raised a Bama, but she don't give a shit. She's raised in Auburn folks.
Yeah, well, she tells her husband what to do. I know that.
Wow. That's fine. I'm smart enough to listen sometimes.
You're not allowed to have any good treat jokes on this show. Right?
Oh, look at you, Deezer. What do you think about?
That's a hell of a game today.
Well, hell yeah. I mean, it's a dub, isn't it? And Florida's pretty good.
Well, yeah. But, another aspect of the game, we proved we could win a game with our best folks in foul trouble early, and that definitely pays off down the road.
Well, of course it does. I mean, and as AU Storm 20 was saying earlier, Auburn's got dudes. They got a lot of dudes.
Yep. I mean, so that they have to play a little different with Jabari and Kessler out, but they proved that they could grind and beat a decent team, And we just started. We got a lot of SEC games to go.
Yeah, there's still a lot of meat on that bone, huh, Hornatius?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
I think Florida's one of the better defensive teams in the league as well, and the fact that they were able to do that. And honestly, I don't get too much in the whole officiating game too much, and I hate to go there sometimes, but we had some really very questionable calls against some of our most important players, and however they want to officiate the games, whatever. But this is a team that is going to persevere beyond that, and we'll see if we can do it on the road Tuesday. But
yeah, it's going to be a big game.
That's what's going to, yeah, absolutely.
You going to watch that one, Deezer?
I'm going to try. If I'm not in the hospital or stuck being somewhere I can't watch TV, yeah.
Well, I would really like it if you weren't. Yeah. At least you don't have.
I would too.
At least you don't have the little girls with red veins.
Back alleys with, he gets stuck in like back alleys with no electricity or TVs or nothing from time to time. So sometimes he can't watch games.
That sucks. This one's going to be on ESPN though, man. So it'll be around.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe on 20 years from now, maybe it'll be on some downtown TV somewhere.
Damn, son.
What the fuck? Hey, pass me that bowl, dude.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Diesel.
I gotta. Well, we ain't in the room together. We're just on the phone together.
I know, but he was.
Figure out
Then who the hell's feeling on my fucking leg?
Well, that must be your cat. Love the cat.
Wait, what's going? Hornatius, you got somebody going up your leg? Is that what you said?
Well, I thought so.
Oh, damn! I thought that hadn't happened in a few years.
It's
This
just
is
my diabetes, I guess.
Welcome to the Brain Drain Late Night.
Hey, have we gotten to Girls Who Want to Poke yet?
No, but are you looking forward to it?
Well, I mean, I guess I am.
Let me ask you.
Talk to your wife first, bro.
Who do you want to poke?
There you go. All of them.
Nah, what you want to poke
He's
the
still
pole
gotta
vaulter,
make
don't
up
you?
with his wife to get in the house tonight.
Ooh, dude.
Don't make it too rough on him.
Oh, these are dropping some
He's
bombs on
sitting
your
in
ass.
his tree
Dude,
right now.
I'm in the garage, and I have to call her every night and ask her.
In your tree.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually right outside the garage, watching the
In your
TV
tree.
in the garage, sitting in my Jeep.
God, this is getting worse, Hornatius. You just always walk yourself into a bigger hole, I tell you. Good God, man. This is insane.
I mean,
We love you,
I like big holes.
Cash. You like big holes.
That was for our.
So you don't feel nothing?
Who, me?
No, I was talking to him.
Hey, I got this car today. I just pulled it in a pack, and it's Don Mattingly. Look at him, look how he's looking at his wood. He is so look at that. He's just. I don't know if you can see that, Deezer, but He is looking at that
I'm not
wood,
sure.
and he's like, 2 hands on it, and he's just fired up. Look at that. What an absolute legend. Don Mattingly,
Wow.
Yankees great.
Yeah, good old Don, first baseman.
Yeah, he's mediocre for a really long time, so we pretend like he was really good. Anyway, anything else for you
He
guys?
played for the Yankees. Well, we appreciate you. We love you.
No, we
Thank
love you, Deezer. I don't know about Hornatius, but we love
Where's the
Deezer.
bench?
All right,
Well,
y'all.
hey,
See
I
y'all.
figured I'd bring somebody on with me this time.
That way, it worked out well, Deezer. Appreciate you, bro. We love you, man.
Hey, tell D Lucky I said I love him.
All right, bro. See you, man.
All right.
There he is.
Bye.
Deezer, who we love, Hornatius, who we tolerate. There they go. And he also wants to let D Lucky know that he was thinking of him. He loves D Lucky. D Lucky's a legend. Courtney knows him. And Courtney, thumbs up on that one, yeah. He stayed with us when we had the bunker event here, and we were fired up to have him. Let's see. AU Storm 20, as he mentioned on the show, can't wait to beat the turds in the airport hangar. Sam H. says, Jay, how do you think we match up with Bama's guards? These dudes can flat out shoot. Do you think we can keep pace with them in transition or slow down? Auburn definitely wants to go in transition. I can't really imagine a situation where Auburn is going to want to slow down, although they showed tonight they can do it. They can be good when they're slowing down. Florida's pretty good, and they slowed them down. But Auburn can we always go back to what AU Storm 20 said. Auburn's got dudes, and they just have enough guys to kind of overcome whatever. I'm falling behind in the super chat, in the chatting and the super chatting a little bit, and I desperately want to catch up. Canoe Man says, who obviously is a channel legend, we know the Canoe Man, love the Commodore more than Pappy Van Winkle. Wow, that is a lot of love right there. A lot of love. Yeah, Corey Dubb agreed as well. D Lucky is. Hold on, let me take this call real quick. Because when he calls me on the cell, that's kind of. All right, so that was D Lucky calling me on the bat phone there, and he's going to call in now on the show. Maybe I missed his call earlier, and I'm sorry if I did. I did actually. Good golly, I don't know how that happened. We got to catch up on some of the chatting, yo. Corey Dubb was on board with that earlier. He said that was a lot of love. It's gonna take a lot of love. There he is, as mentioned by Deezer just moments ago. Here is D Lucky. What's up, bro?
What's good, JG?
I feel like I just spoke with you because you called me.
A little bit of deja vu. I just didn't know if you were if you had what the itinerary was, and these are going to be a shout out. I couldn't,
Well, the itinerary always includes you being on the horn. We love that. I mean, we clear the phone lines for you, bro. Like no shit.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That. Shout out to my man Deezer. Love you, bro.
He's a fighter, man. He's
Keep on,
absolutely a fighter.
He is. Keep it on, baby.
All right. So thoughts on this ball game tonight, D Lucky?
Pretty impressed. If you told me that, I know, I heard Bruce on the pregame, and he talked about the fact that Florida was going to try to get our bigs in foul trouble, and they were successful. And if you told me that that Walker and Jabari would play the little amount that they did, I wouldn't think we had a shot in hell. Dylan did a great job of filling in. He's still got a little bit more winded than I would have expected for a D1 athlete.
Mm-hmm.
But, he played well. I think if he would stay in that situation, I think he just has to realize he doesn't have to go for every block. Just play good defense. We're just trying to get minutes. We don't need you to block every shot. Just play good, hard defense and box out. That's all we need from you. So I think he probably exerted himself a little more than he should have.
Agreed.
Allen was huge, and I think he is probably the. He's a juggernaut. He's the turbo that's going to put this from a championship contender to a championship winner, in my opinion. If we can have that stretch that he had where they got close every time, and then he got a bucket, and then they got close, and then he got a bucket. I think he gives us that little bitty missing piece that we don't quite have with KD and we don't quite have with Wendell, where he has size, so he can finish when he gets in the lane. He can also stroke it from outside, but he can create his shot. You talked about that a little earlier, where Wendell doesn't quite have the Jared Harper ability to create his shot. Yeah, and I think that Allen, he has that, and he can create his own shot, get to the rack, and finish.
He
comfortably.
did. Yeah.
Or he can pull up. He's versatile enough that whatever we need in the moment, he can go and get for us. So I think he's going to be beyond huge down the stretch for us. So I was excited to see him, in the way he played tonight. Super deep. And you saw him said we had dudes. That is no lie. The fact that Stretch didn't even check into the scorer's table with the way that we were in foul trouble and everything, it just wasn't even an issue.
I know.
And that, 5 years ago, Stretch probably plays 20 minutes tonight.
Dude, he's Horace. He's a Horace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just playing defense and, giving us 5 fouls, and we're just grateful for that in the past life of Auburn basketball. And the fact that dude can't sniff the court any more than I can is incredible.
It's pretty amazing. The depth is insane. The fact that Stretch doesn't play and he's a solid player, but he's Horace. Yeah.
He is. And like I said, the program has moved that far beyond where he's just not needed at this point. So
it's the Pearl Arena. Pearl Arena is what I'm talking about. Yeah.
It absolutely is. But yeah, I was pleased with the overall and to get out of there, 10 plus, with the way that those guys were playing, and it's not a lot of negatives you can come up with.
No, hell no. You beat Florida?
I want Wendell to hopefully, and this is something he can work on between now and in the season, just in the game situations and situational awareness. Wendell had the ball in the corner with someone pressing him, picked the ball up with 2 or 3 timeouts, I think, and just threw a horrendous pass as a turnover to Florida instead of just calling a timeout.
Yeah.
Your point guard's got to have a level head in that situation to know, hey, I got it out. I'm going to call a timeout and get us settled down and go from there. So, but he learned that in the pressure pack situation, and we still got out of there with a win. So we'll take it.
And it's baby steps, man. You always got to find some way to get a little bit better. I know you know a lot about basketball because you watch a lot of basketball, don't you? In your own personal life.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
You know a little something about how kids get better, developing players.
That's the thing, and you have to put them in situations. Nobody learns sitting on the bench. So you put them out there, you put them in situations, and you see how they perform, and then you hope the next time they're in it, they learn what you teach them.
Yep.
And that's a perfect one that in the game, hopefully in a tournament or whatever, and someone's pressing us and we're up. He knows exactly what to do because he didn't quite get it right this time, and he'll get it fixed the next go around. Seems like a smart kid. I'm expecting exactly that. So
there it is. And then they got Bam Bams on Tuesday, man. That's going to be a showdown.
It is. I would have felt a whole lot better if those jackasses didn't get their heads thumped today.
And they did.
I would have felt. They did. So, they're going to be pissed off like a bunch of hornets when we roll up in there. And then, who knows what happens Monday night. It's just karma of all of that. So, we'll just see. We'll figure it out Tuesday night. 24-hour rule. We ain't going to worry about that one until tomorrow. Though.
Yep. Celebrate this one tonight. I got you, brother.
Absolutely.
All right, D-Lucky. I appreciate you calling in and taking some time for us late. I know you're in Madison time, but, for the rest of us, it's kind of late.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you doing this. Appreciate you taking out Saturday night to hang out with us. Happy New Year to everybody in the chat and on the channel.
All right, D-Lucky.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you, bro. See you.
All right, man. Yeah, man. Peace.
There he is, D-Lucky. Madison's finest. Not Huntsville. He is a Madison legend. We had to say goodbye to Corey. Corey, it was getting a little bit late for Corey, and it's getting a little bit late for everybody, I reckon. But look at this. Vitali's back with a Vorden to go. What does that even mean? Let's see. We got some stuff still catching up here. Brad Easterwood acknowledged that he's a nerd. which I would not have said. But, if that's what you want to say, that's cool. Canoe Man jumps in to say that I love the Commodore more than Pappy Van Winkle. I may have seen this before, actually, but appreciate it nonetheless. Thank you, Canoe Man. And you need to tell our mutual friend who's up in the Dakotas that he also needs to atone for some of the things that he said about. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. The stuff he said a couple months ago. I was like, bro, what are you talking about? Johnny K says Auburn's second string could make it to the Sweet 16. I'm not sure about that, but Auburn's second string is pretty damn good. I would agree with that. Let's see what else you got. Von Eigel Brooks says, I think because the defense is so solid, it matches up against the guard play. Yeah, I would agree with that. Steve R says, never seen such a deep bench. Yeah, definitely not at Auburn, and hardly anywhere. Back in the 90s, Tulane, I know you're thinking Tulane, who gives a shit? They had like this team, they had what they called the posses. The first team posse and the second team posse, and so they didn't really like mix and match. They just had the first group and the second group, and they all went 5 by 5, This 5 is playing, the whole 5 comes out, and a whole new 5 goes in. Now that's depth. I mean, Auburn could do that right now if they wanted to, but I'm just saying, that was pretty impressive back in those days. Let's see what else we got. Blake R., you're definitely a legend. Corey's a legend too, for sure. Excuse me on the cough there. I don't know what that was all about. Corey Dub, who's gone now, says, wasn't Vor Nago the bad guy in Ghostbusters? That's pretty funny. Ocalaballa. Well, I like it better as Ocalaballa, but it's really Ocalaballa. I was born in Gainesville. My dad went to Florida, and I went to Florida. Got to support my boys, even though Mike White ruined this program. Ouch, man. I'm sorry it took me so long to get to your comment there. We love Ocala. Courtney, do we not love Ocala, Florida?
Amazing.
It's a home of that's a horse racing mecca, really. Due to Mr. Hooper, who is from my town, Montgomery, Alabama. Well, technically a little bit south of here. Maybe technically he would say, if he were still alive, that he's from Hayneville. However, maybe he wouldn't. I don't know. Depends. He's the one that got it going down there in Ocala, by the way. And we love Ocalaballa. Let me see what else we got here. Oh, Pipe Layer Nick's in the house. Says, good day, Commodore. Pipe Layer Nick, you guys know he's a Purdue fan. Purdue is pretty damn good. He knows that because he watches them, I'm sure. But I was just kind of saying. Oh, man. R. Stews says, Yo, JG, in your opinion, what are the top 4 teams in the country? Good question. I'm going to take a look at see what KenPom thinks the top 4 teams are, and then I will tell you how I feel about it. Baylor, definitely top 5 team. Gonzaga, definitely top 5 team. Houston, let's get back to that. Kansas, let's get back to that. Villanova, let's get back to that. Purdue, for me, is definitely. So for me, it will be Baylor, Gonzaga, Purdue. Auburn, 4. And then for me, Houston's a half a step back. Kansas is a half a step back. And I don't even know what to make of Villanova right now. I mean, they're good, but we already know that Auburn's better than LSU. And Arizona and Kentucky's a team that is going to have to be dealt with. Illinois is a team that's going to be dealt with. And I'm more interested in I want to know more about UCLA and Duke, too. After that, it kind of takes a step back. Southern Cal is 13-0. Holy shit, I had no idea. Let's see. They haven't beaten anybody worth a shit, though. I mean, they beat San Diego State. Bad. And they beat Washington State, which I don't really care about. And these teams they're playing coming up are just dog shit all the time. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with them. Andy Enfield's a good coach, though. No shit. So Baylor, Gonzaga, Purdue, Auburn. That will be my top 4 right now. With Kentucky right there. Kentucky's good, y'all. They got a lot of dudes. Ty Washington, their point guard, is somebody that Auburn very, very much wanted last year. Very much wanted. Pipe Layer Nick knew that was, holy shit, he knew that was an 89 tops. It is, in fact, an 89 tops. I mean, you know your baseball cards. I knew that. I didn't know this. I would not be able to look at this and say, yeah, that's an 89 tops. And he is really, he loves this. He loves his wood, doesn't he, Courtney?
He's very happy about it.
He loves this. She says he's very happy with it. Mobile alum jumps in again. This is a question for Courtney probably. Are you going to come to Lower Alabama and do a drain during basketball season?
Sure.
Courtney says thumbs up. She's interested. We got an inn at the Voodoo Wing Company location in Mobile. My daughter works on the register when she's in school at South Alabama. So there you go. Geez, what else we got here? So much nice stuff going on here in the chat. Sparrow Empire jumps in. We haven't seen him in a minute, but we love him. Glad to have him back. Hey, JG, pardon my absence. Your hair is looking fire, by the way. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to give you an applause for that since you're right. You think the Rec will call in their favors and will wind up with 31 fouls Tuesday. Over-under on fouls in that game against Auburn, 31. Yeah, absolutely. Blake R. is bouncing, so that's going to be it. Man, we're going to miss you, bro. What a stud. Blake R., you're going to get, yeah, you're a legend. Chip says really pumped about the Vor Ngo guy at defensive tackle. We love these Serbian guys. They're great at tackle. Let's see. Oh, we've caught up now. Let's see. Torre says UK lost to LSU this week. That is true. It was a close game. It was at LSU. I still think Kentucky's better than LSU. I don't think Kentucky's better than Auburn, but we're going to be able to find that out on the court. Because Auburn is going to play Kentucky. I wish they played a twofer against Kentucky. I would prefer that, but we're just going to get the one game in Auburn Arena, which is cool. I'm good with that. Auburn's got a chance to get really hot here in the second half of the season because the schedule is tougher up top, I think. You've got the second Alabama game is February 1. So after that, you've got at Georgia, at Arkansas, A&M, Vanderbilt, Florida, at Florida, which I think is tough. Auburn doesn't do very well. Ole Miss is always a bitch for Auburn because Kermit's good. At Tennessee is going to be a tough game. At Mississippi State, I think Auburn can win that game. And then South Carolina, you know what time it is. So, I mean, this is a good team. It's a really good team. Call Me Biscuit says, have you checked on your son Clementine today? Montana State took it on the chin today. That's right. The Bobcats lost 38-10 in the national championship game against some yahoos that aren't Montana State. We did have the group chat going during the game, and B-Matt and Stoltze were keeping pretty close tabs on the game. Obviously pulling for Montana State, the good guys, but unfortunately they didn't quite make it today. So Clementine was at the game in Frisco, Texas, and he's going to be making his way back over the next few days with one of his homies. So we're fired up about that. Courtney, I think the Auburn sign's working great. I think it looks great on the screen. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like your Papa Cap, too. That's Courtney's stuff there. I mean, I was there, but it was your eye. It was your eye. Solo Tiger says, yeah, we had the easiest remaining schedule even coming into today's game. How about that? That's weird that it would get down to that. You know what I mean? We'll take this call from an unknown caller. Let's see who this is. Hey, caller, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, JG?
Word, who this? Is this flying around?
Yes, sir.
Hey, what up, bro?
What a game.
Hell yeah, it was. Appreciate your super chat earlier, brother.
Oh, yeah. I just I thought with, there's going to be circumstances in the tournament where, Jabari could get in foul trouble like that. And Jalen, scoring like he did, I mean, he was just catching the ball and driving. I mean, it wasn't any post plays. It wasn't any, garbage buckets. It was just catching the ball and driving and going to the lane and getting the point.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, BP's been pushing that. They've been teaching this, Get to the hole. Be more assertive. Get it done quickly.
And that's, going back to the Final Four team, you didn't see a lot of that. Bryce Brown couldn't do that. A couple other players couldn't do that. But on all the positions that you see starting, KD Johnson, Flanny, Flanny in the second half was driving, scoring. So that's what you really want to see when you're playing good defensive teams like, my defense, is you want to see those, kind of players just, where they're going to press you and they're not going to let you run your offense. Florida didn't let them have anything on transition. And so, you just got to get the ball and you got to drive to the lane. And they did that tonight. And scoring 85 points on the way Florida was playing them, I mean, That's what you want to see.
Yeah.
So
Florida's a good defensive team, man. To put 85 up on that ass, that's pretty good.
I know it. It was good. It was good to see. So, question on Chris Moore, because I've been wanting to ask you this for a while.
Sure.
So, Chris Moore being 6'6", 240, and I know you've always said you just don't know where he fits on this offense, but Bruce's thing on offensive players, where he's worked with them, like Bryce Brown. You notice like his senior year where Bryce had got that, he started shooting that spot up shot, and that worked well for him. But I just see him as, why can't he be that garbage guy on offense where he's grabbing offensive boards, putting it back in? He's got the frame for it. He's 6'6", 240.
I know. I think he's a finesse player, though. I think that he's a shooter. I think he's a 3 and a 4 body. And so I don't think
I get that.
I know you look at his body and you think, why isn't he a rough and tumble guy like Barkley? Because Barkley's built like that, right?
Right.
But he doesn't have that mentality. He's not that guy.
So he doesn't. So you don't think Bruce can push that on him, or just say, hey, look, you're. I know you're a finesse player, but you're, with your build, you're better. When Flanny's out, and he's coming in, like he could just be an asset better, grabbing those offensive boards.
He would be more of an asset doing that. You're right, but I just don't know. I feel like in basketball, you just can't change too much. I don't know. I just haven't seen guys change that much in their careers, just through the years. I think it's tough.
I got you.
He just kind of is what he is, and they take it. To me, he would be like Jalen is a better version of him, like kind of a Swiss Army knife guy.
Right.
It's unfortunate, man. I hate it because Simo's a good dude, and he works as hard as everybody else, but yeah, it's just not.
That's what I see. If I think his potential is like untapped, just like Zep. I think Zep and Chris Moore are the two players that you haven't seen their full potential yet. Everybody else, you can kind of see it. So I guess we'll see. But let me tell you, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. But, you're good at football. You're good at analyzing football. But basketball, like you're next level. Like what you said about KD Johnson was like exactly what I told my brother before the game. I was like, KD, I said he's been quiet the last few games, and I said he really needs, like I feel like he is the major key to beating Bama and Tuscaloosa. Is he's got to get going on offense, and once he gets going on offense, he is a madman on defense. So I really do think since he had this showing tonight, I think he's probably, to me, the number one key player. Obviously, Kessler and Jabari down low are going to do good, against Bama. But I feel like on the guard play that KD going off tonight is really going to transition and help them, get a dub in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, that's the hope,
because
man.
You're exactly right. He when he scores, he's just another player on defense.
He is, and it's kind of backwards. Usually, for BP guys anyway, the defense kind of spurs the offense, but for him, it's kind of backward. It's like the offense kind of spurs the defense for him.
That's right.
But he was a mess tonight, wasn't he? He showed that he can take over a game.
He
was just a mess.
Yes, he was, and it was good because he's been quiet the past few games. But I was hoping this game he was going to have a showing because he definitely needs to carry that over in Tuscaloosa. I really think that the way he plays defense, he's going to be the key part to them getting a dub Tuesday.
We've got a question in the chat about you flying around. It says, is flying around from New York City, that's what Call Me Biscuit asks, love that accent?
New York City. I've got the worst Southern drawl.
I think he's teasing you.
Yeah, I know. That's one thing that I've always had to carry was my draw. So yeah, I guess I'm a backwoods boy. So
It's very recognizable to me. Hey, I didn't even know that was you calling in, and I knew it was you. So.
Oh yeah, I've talked to classmates, from school. Like I can call them, and they know exactly who it is because of
I love it.
My voice.
Flying around, you're an absolute legend. We love you here. We love you on the bunker, and we're just glad to have you part of the community, brother. So thanks for calling in again.
All right, Commodore.
All right, brother. See you, man.
See you.
There he is, flying around, who is not from New York City, as some have postulated. I didn't really think he was from there, but I do think he's a legend. I know that. And I think that's what Biscuit was really trying to get at. Clint S. says Charles Barkley is an icon. You damn right he is. I didn't mean to say like Chris Moore should be Charles Barkley. I mean, he's one of the 50 greatest players in NBA history. I'm just saying he has the same body, and you were thinking maybe he could kind of fill that same role as like a rough and tumble power forward but I just don't know. That Chris Moore has that mentality. Chip says Stephen P's super chat is still hanging up there, and it's not even halfway expired. Boss. Stephen P. What a legend. And there's a lot of legends here. Obviously, we've got channel legends coming out the butt because it's a great channel. We have great legends. We have people that call in. We have people that make glasses, i.e. Chip. People that super chat. People that message me privately, email, text, DMs on the site, doing this, that, and the other thing. It's an incredible community here. Not just the Brain Drain, but because the Brain Drain really is just kind of an offshoot of the Bunker at auburnsports.com. And, yeah. That's pretty much what I have to say about that. Courtney's been here for the last 30 minutes, kind of not giving me the evil eye, just kind of like monitoring things, She says it's about time to wrap it up. Canoe Man says Simo's future might be in the NFL. Seriously. Does look like a tight end to me. Hornatius says Night Beaches. Thanks for calling in earlier, Hornatius. We'll probably wrap it up there, though, for reals. We'll have to keep these shows kind of short. We went an hour and 47 minutes, at least to this moment, talking about the Auburn Tigers and their win over the Florida Gators tonight, but we'll probably wrap it up there. Let's see. Call Me Biscuit says, when are you an administrative assistant doing your new G-Pits podcast? That's a great question. We were supposed to do one during the break.
Whenever you want to.
But it just didn't come together. I will say, and I say this kind of to playfully taunt Neil, but the show we did after we came back from Punta Cana was the highest. It still gets downloaded a lot. Like, people still listen to it. I think they're listening to it again because there's no way there's new people just kind of coming upon it. But it's our most listened to show ever. So, yeah.
Maybe we need to do our own, Jay.
Do we have enough to talk about? Courtney said we should do our own, and I'm like, I don't know. Do we have enough to talk about? Reminds me of that Sam Kinison bit. Do you know the one I'm talking about when he was talking about rap? No, I'm not going to get into it now. It's too late. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all so much for the Super Chat. Stephen P., what an absolute stud. Also, Mobile alum, doing your thing. Canoe Man, thank you so much. Flying around, thank you for calling in and super chatting as well. AU Storm 20 for calling in and super chatting as well. Hornatius, thank you for super chatting. Stu Pup as well, who's always here for us. Caddy Wumpus as well. Man, you guys are unbelievable. Solo Tiger says, Courtney says, turn off the video. Courtney says, turn off the light. Courtney says, turn off the radio. You beat yourself up because you love it. Your thoughts? No comment. All right, very good. D Lucky also as well for calling in and providing us a great reset as well. R. Stu says, Auburn a Final Four team before you go, yes or no? I can't answer that because I told you, man, it's about matchups. We got to be able to look and see who Auburn's got in the round of 64, in the round of 32, in the Sweet 16. I mean, who are they matched up with? I don't think they match up well with Baylor. I don't think they match up well with Purdue. But the other teams we just kind of have to figure out. We got a little bit more work to do, particularly Kentucky. Is Auburn definitely better than Kentucky? We're going to find out. It's going to take about about 8 more games. Yikes, man. This one hurts. Chip says, girls with the red veins say, shut it down. Were you freaked out by that today? Like, legitimately, were you just like, what the hell?
No, because I knew what it was.
Oh, you knew it was a hallucination or whatever? But it was oddly specific.
Well, they usually are.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm going to bounce. Appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. You guys have been absolute legends as always. We will check you again. Golly, these next few games are tough, man. 8 o'clock Bammer game. Although I think we might have to do a show after that. I mean, if Auburn wins that game, we need to talk about it. What'd you say? Oh, she says yes. Ole Miss 7:30 on Saturday. I don't know about that one. Georgia 8 o'clock. Nobody gives a shit because Auburn's going to crush them. And then we got the Kentucky game on the 22nd, which is an absolute showdown. I cannot wait for that one. I literally can't wait for that. I mean, I can't. What am I going to do? I can't wait. So we'll keep it updated on the bunker about what we're going to do with that Alabama game. We'll play it by ear. Anyway, guys, appreciate y'all. Thanks for showing up as usual and being legends as usual. Until next time, keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars. Make great decisions. And be good out there. Love you guys. Appreciate you. See you.